reported by precinct, so it will take time to get this done. The recount will happen at the same time that many counties right now are getting ready for runoff elections. The Secretary of State's office also spent time during that morning news conference addressing misinformation that's out there. They say that they're investigating certain fraudulent claims, but they cannot investigate everything unless they have evidence.
If we make a precedent of I don't like the outcome, therefore we should start investigating random parts of the process, that means in the future, if somebody asks for the same thing, say Stacey Abrams comes up short in 2 years when she likely runs for governor, and then starts accusing the process of being wrong without any specific evidence. So it's a bad precedent unless we can find a legal path with specific evidentiary routes to follow.
So coming up on Fox 5 News at 5 o'clock, we're going to break down a pretty big change that the state election board voted on this morning about absentee ballots and processing absentee ballots and what that could mean for you. Reporting live in Atlanta, Brooke Zauner, Fox 5 News.
All right, much more to come. Thank you, Brooke. And as Brooke mentioned, Georgia Voting System Implementation Manager Gabriel Sterling is about to hold his second news conference of the day. It's happening right now. We want to go ahead and listen into that live.
Call with our counties to kind of go over some of the processes and procedures we're going to be doing for the upcoming recount. The big headlines on that one are that they need to begin tomorrow at 9. They cannot begin any sooner than that. And they need to be wrapped up and end by midnight on Wednesday, December 2nd. One of the issues we have with this situation is right now we have Thanksgiving on Thursday and actual elections going on Tuesday in several of our counties around the state. So we're trying to take that onto account. We've given them the specific procedures of how to do logic and accuracy testing, which follows the 100 test deck I've been talking about, and the ways that they need to make sure they keep their provisionals all together, their absentee in person or early voting all together, the absentee by mail all together, and the election day all together. And then we can still report by precinct and by ballot type. There were several questions, again, around, specific procedures. How do we do this? What's a batch? It's renaming things when we run it through. And we had reps from the vendor, Dominion there, and our staff, and kind of walked through a lot of that. And we sent out some spreadsheets and lots a lot more forms because I have to do the same custody tracking with each one of these things. We anticipate some will be working over the weekend. And as far as the costs go, officially right now it is a county cost. But as I said before, we're working with them to do a cost sharing thing based out of our HAVA dollars. So I reemphasized to them that the biggest cost obviously is personnel, and they need to keep a separate accounting of that when we're trying to look for a way that we can potentially do a cost sharing on that using our federal Help America Vote Act dollars. So that's the biggest highlights. They got to begin tomorrow morning by 9. They can't begin any earlier than that, but beginning can also be if they're organizing, getting the people lined up, because we want to make sure we have a lot of notice go out so that the monitors can be there and the adjudication teams can be lined up, especially if they're going to be doing the absentee votes first, because those are the ones that are most likely that need to be needing adjudication. And we've asked them to reach out to their local parties. Unlike the audit, and we made sure that this time they're going to let us know so we can have a centralized location of where we're going to be able to show these things are happening. And instead of giving we'll begin at 9 a.m. on Wednesday and end at midnight on the following Wednesday or Tuesday, begin at 9 a.m. on Tuesday and end at midnight the following Wednesday. We're now saying they need to be more discreet about when the actual work will be going on, because especially in smaller counties, it's harder to get monitors there to make sure they can keep the process viewable and public, because the whole key to this is transparency. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start taking any questions you might have. That's the biggest change from earlier, is that we've given them these specific deadlines and what they have to do.
All right, you've been listening in there to Voting System Implementation Manager Gabriel Sterling with the Secretary of State's office, giving us an update on the recount that will be taking place. Again, President Trump's team has requested a recount. They requested that over the weekend, and he has just confirmed that it will begin tomorrow at 9 a.m. They must wrap it up by midnight, December 2nd. So they've got a little bit more than a week to get this recount done, and it's going to be done by machine this time. Remember, the hand audit was counting it individually by hand. This one will be done by machine. We'll continue to update you if there are any new developments, as the media is now asking him questions, and we'll let you know of anything new during this hour. Well, we learned this weekend that Gabriel Sterling, who we just heard from there, like the Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, has gotten a series of death threats following Friday's certification of the results. As Fox 5's Rob Dirienzo reports, the threats have come in the form of text messages, tweets, and even a suspicious package.
Georgia's voting systems manager Gabe Sterling said over the weekend that he handed that package over to investigators. He also said that somebody has been trying to hack into his email account. Now, on top of that, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger's office said yesterday that his life was again threatened. Now, tensions have been running high since the Secretary of State certified President-elect Joe Biden as the winner on Friday. Trump supporters who claimed that the election was stolen rallied outside of the Capitol on Saturday. Sterling said that while they're getting ready to start the recount President Trump petitioned for, he's needed police protection.
I'm looking outside my window right now with the police car sitting right there, and it's been there, I think, about a week and a half. I mean, it was my birthday last week. Somebody, tweeted at me, "This will be your last birthday cake you ever eat."
Sterling said they still have not uncovered any evidence of widespread voter fraud, but they are investigating every allegation. He said he's not intimidated, just frustrated, tweeting over the weekend, quote, "All is well, following the law, following the process, doing our jobs." In Atlanta, Rob Dirienzo, Fox 5 News.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Rob. Here are some key dates in the Georgia U.S. Senate runoff elections to know about. Eligible Georgia residents must register to vote by December 7th. This also includes residents who were not old enough to vote in the November election, but will turn 18 by January 5th. You can also register to vote in the runoff elections. In-person early voting, that begins December 14th. And election day for the Senate runoff races is January 5th. All right, let's turn our attention to the forecast here and looking live here at our Georgia Power camera, panning this shot to see lots of traffic on the highway. But at least folks are seeing some beautiful sunshine out there today and nice, comfortable weather. Chief Meteorologist David Chandley joining us here at 4 o'clock.
Yes.
David, debuting this new show today, and it turned out to be a nice day for it.
It did. A little bit cooler than what we had over the weekend. You kind of felt it out there this afternoon. Temperatures struggling to get out of the 50s in some spots. I mean, we're still holding on to 57 in Canton, 58 in Rome. They were in the low 70s this weekend, 55 there in Blairsville. We're 60 here. It's been our high so far, 63 out in Covington. A little warmer out towards Putnam County, east of the city. You take a look at a lot of sunshine across the area because we got a clear sky, no doubt about it. We'll see a few clouds start streaming in here, I think, through the day tomorrow around the area of high pressure that's going to be sliding in this general direction. So we'll start tapping a little more easterly wind, and we'll see that increase the moisture content through the day tomorrow and on into the middle part of the week. Got a little disturbance up here in the nation's midsection. Look at that. You got to go from rain to some snow in a short order up there across Missouri and Iowa. Reminder that it is getting into late November. Here we go tonight. Clear and cooling for us. Temperature down into the 40s or so by 11 o'clock. We're not done. We're going to cool it on into the 30s in a lot of spots by early tomorrow morning. In fact, it'll be that way to 11 o'clock up towards the mountains. I think we'll keep it in the low 40s here in town, but outside the perimeter, mid to upper 30s. So a brisk start to your Tuesday. And then plenty of sunshine on Tuesday. And we're going to try to get up near 60 degrees again. But it may be our coolest day of the week. Trade-off is we got some wet weather to speak of. That's coming your way in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you in a few. Thanks, David. A father makes an emotional plea for his son to turn himself in to Henry County Police. D'Angelo Atkinson is wanted for murder. Fox 5's Deidra Dukes spoke to the suspect's father, who claims his son acted in self-defense.
Sean Harvey is making a desperate plea for his son to come forward. D'Angelo Atkinson remains at large a week after Henry County Police say he opened fire on a car with a toddler inside, killing the driver. The shooting happened at this home on Tinahay Court in Stockbridge. Atkinson lived at the residence with his dad and other family members. His father, Sean Harvey, returned to the home on Monday and posted these messages at the crime scene in hopes of convincing his son to turn himself in to police.
And I'm not going to stop till I find my son.
Neighbors tell Fox 5 the suspect's ex-girlfriend arrived at the home to pick up their 2-year-old son from Atkinson. They say he became enraged when he learned that she was with another man. They say the ex-girlfriend told them that Atkinson went inside and got a gun and came out. By this time, the 2-year-old was in the front seat of the car, and they say Atkinson opened fire anyway, killing the driver. Harvey's father claims his son acted in self-defense and that the driver was the aggressor. He is urging Atkinson to come forward.
This is what I want to say to you, son. You're safe. I know that you did something. We was all scared. We ran. We didn't think about it. But we're justified. You hear me? And I got you. I don't care about nobody else, but I got you. And I'm going to bust my butt to make sure you come home safe.
Deidra Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Some Republican lawmakers singing a different transition out of the White House. Plus, more promising news on the COVID-19 vaccine, what AstraZeneca has to say about its vaccine, and how the World Health Organization has responded.
You're watching Fox 5 News at 4 with Christine Sperow and Chief Meteorologist David Chandley.